So engaging with others is clearly the first step. But if we just engage, and we engage with 100 or 1,000 or 500,000 people, that does not help us have long-term, warm, close relationships with the people that are in our direct environment. And it's most easily imagined is that we have warm, loving feelings towards members of our family. But that's also true. For me as a teacher, I want to welcome, the students and let the students know that I'm glad to see them and that I'm going to be glad to see them tomorrow and that I'm glad that they are part of my life. And so we call this Amabilidade. It turns out that the Portuguese word is the best word that we have for this. The terms in English are actually not so good. And it captures that the other person is our friend, that we see the other person as somebody that we value, that we care about, that we want to take care of. And so if you want to have an analogy, it's really the way parents love their child. And if we can teach students and teachers that same attitude towards others, then I think our schools are going to be transformed. They're going to be much more positive, wonderful places that people want to be in. And so what makes for amabilidade? One of the core things is empathy, that we are learning to be better at understanding, appreciating, figuring out what others are feeling, what the other person's needs are. And again, I as a teacher can try to do that by taking the perspective of the students. I can think about, that they may have had a stressful morning, that they have already had a job where they have work, that they may not have gotten enough sleep. And if I can look at the students from that perspective, then the fact that they are tired may not hurt my feelings. It may help me, be a more positive force in their life. So empathy is absolutely core to all relationships. And a second piece, and that I think is absolutely critical, I insist on in my classroom, is respect. And it's not just that I want my students to respect me, but also I respect them. And I'm very clear about this, that I'm going to stick to certain kinds of rules, that I'm not going to go on longer in my classes than the hour goes, that I'm going to be respectful of their feelings, of their time, and so on. So the idea here is that respect is earned, I always say. So as a teacher, if I treat my students with respect, I'm likely to get respect back for them. So really, it's important to think about not something that I get to be respected because I'm old or because I'm, a teacher, but because of the way I behave in my interactions with the students. And then the third one in Amabilidade is that we couldn't have relationships with people if there was no trust. And if you think about, that I'm here in Brazil, talking to you about socio-emotional skills, well, I could be wondering what's going on at my house. Is there like a car parked and somebody is visiting my house who shouldn't be visiting the house? Well, this is what trust is about, that I trust my wife, I trust my kids, that they are going to do the right thing, that they're going to make good decisions. So trust is really the fundamental piece that I can expect other people to do as they say. And so that's really important that I as a teacher also show my students that if I say I'm going to grade the exam and I'll bring it back in tomorrow, that I will actually do that the kids can learn that trust is possible. And it's a big issue, especially with teenagers, that they're not sure that they can trust adults. And so as a teacher, we are first in line to show them that adults are trustworthy. And so learning, increasing our trust in individuals and teachers, in organizations, maybe even in the government, is a really critical piece of having warm, loving relationships.